Hi, Shauna with Fitness Outside the Fishbowl. Today we're here with Tim Schmidt with Rollga, and he is going to be giving us a little demonstration as far as all of the different ways that you can use Rollga. It is such a multi-purpose way to roll those knots out of your body, get rid of the tension, get rid of some of those trouble spots. So anyway, I'm going to turn it on over to Tim and let's hear what he has to say.
Okay, so basically what we're doing here is we can cover plantar fasciitis. So I'm going to kind of cover everything the roller does now. So plantar fasciitis, a person would just roll through this zone here. It's applying pressure to the arch of my foot. And a lot of times shin splint starts right here in the arch of the foot. A lot of us too, when we're running, we get kind of a heel strike pain that happens right back here. You can just apply that heel right into the Rollga as well and roll the heel strike pain away as well. Now with shins are kind of unique. You just put both of your shins in at the same time, and then you just rock back. So you can do two shins at the same time. Some of us say, well, I don't have the shoulder strength to do that. No problem. Just put one shin in at a time on that outside contour, and you can roll back that one shin. So it makes it very easy to do. Now on the quads, what's really unique about quads is that we can roll both quads at the same time. I put both in on the outside contours and I just stretch back. So we could be checking our emails on our phone, looking at Facebook, Instagram, and just relaxing. Now if we turn our knees inward like this is really kind of fun because now you can roll right along the IT band, and you turn outward, now you're hitting just outside the adductors. What's unique about this roller is it's actually allowing the muscle tissue to move through the Rollga instead of across it. So on a flat roller, you're going to get popping and crunching as those little fibers have nowhere to displace. But here in the Rollga, they can move through the roller, which is really quite nice. Now on the adductor muscle, so let's say you're sprinting and playing softball, and boom, you hit the adductor and you pull the groin. Well, it's not really fun to go in and see a massage therapist and tell them, to massage your adductor muscles. So here you can actually just get that same massage by just applying pressure down on the Rollga. You're going to get a really nice 45-degree angle pressure right up into the groin, and it actually will stretch out that muscle for you, get rid of that knot and that pain. And so onto the calves and quads. On the calves, what's really unique is that you can put both ankles in at the same time. Again, roll both, or you can just do one at a time, but it's going to protect the Achilles tendon right on the roller. You actually have no pressure being applied to the Achilles tendon, just two 45-degree angles coming up. Then as you get to the calves, a lot of times these shin splints move up into the calves, so we've now covered the shin splints for the underneath the feet. You've also covered it for the shins themselves, but in the calves, when you get a really tight gastrocnemius muscle, it starts pulling on that soleus. So what we're doing is, now we're just taking this gastroc, which has two muscle groups in it. There's two muscles basically together. We want to pull those muscles apart. So how we do that is we just set the gastroc right in the middle of what we call zone 2, which is that top node, and we just roll right across that, and that opens up the gastrocnemius. Then you can put it back through it and pull it all together. So that helps a lot with those shin splints and those cramps from running. Now everything when you roll the legs, if you are a big runner, you want to do it after your workout. So that's a big clue as well. You can do a little pre-warm-up just to get blood and circulation moving in your legs, kind of activate the neuroreceptors. But the main thing is you want to roll right after, because we want it as a recovery tool. If you roll too much before and get too loose, then you cramp up. So there I just did my hamstrings. Just going to go ahead and sit on the Rollga right in the center, and so my tailbone just goes right in the middle. And what's nice about this is now it's going to cover hitting those glutes. So once we loosen up the glutes, I tip to the outside. My hips fall right into that outside contour, and now I just roll my hips, and I'm hitting the piriformis right here. And so what we're doing now is a lot of us that sit at an office desk job, and we're sitting there, we're typing away, and we're getting that low back pain that's kind of radiating right up into here. All that we're doing is we've got a tight piriformis. These erector muscles come down the back of the spine, and they roll right into the rear end, and then they fan out like this underneath us. And so when this muscle gets really tight, called the piriformis, which I'm rolling now, we loosen that up and we get rid of that low back pain. So it helps a lot. Now one of the other areas for that low back pain that we want to cover is going to be what's called the medial. So if we get that knot that happens right here, we can get rid of that basically with the Rollga by laying on our side, just like this here. Lift it right up underneath the hip. I start right at the top of the femur. I lay back and relax backwards. Now I've got, again, that little node kind of pushing up towards the piriformis, and I just roll down past the belt line. And boom, I hit it. And when I do, I can just kind of actively move my leg up and down to get that to stretch and pop out, which is really cool. IT band, it's very simple. We just rock right on through the IT band. I'm not actually putting pressure on the IT band because I'm on the outside. The main thing here though is to stay nice and straight. Big mistake I see is people trying to hinge their hips like this, do some Spider-Man thing, and they can't get to it. So make sure you're nice and straight. If you go to the center cradle, the center contour, you can apply some pressure to the IT band if you like that pressure, but there are studies that say don't apply pressure to the IT band, which is that big fascial layer here. Others say it's fine, so it's entirely up to you. Whatever you believe in, you can control that. Then there's the bridge move for low back pain. Basically what we do is we lay flat on the ground, lift our hips up, put the tailbone underneath here. This is gonna pop the SI joint back in place as you relax down. The SI joint pops. You can also relax and open up your hips as well. So anybody who have really tight hips, you can open those up. And then you finish off in the hips with the hip flexor by just basically rolling right over the joint, and then you can tip to the front and then again to the back and just rolling right around that joint so that you can get that ultimate range of motion. Now onto the back, kind of finishing up. On the back, you just roll backwards and you start it right at the spine and you roll all the way from the spine to the shoulders. My arms are out in a fly, it's one way. If I hug myself and I tip to the outside, basically I go right up behind the shoulder blade. So if you have that knot in the shoulder blade, you go right up behind it. And then you come down into the neck and just relax. And then now I just relax on the Rollga for my neck. You can tip it up here and kind of rock and roll for deep migraine pressure. And then for text neck, you just look at a 45-degree angle away, and that's for the sternotoimastoid muscle that's running right down from your ear into your chest, which holds up your head, and you can relax that. That's always really nice. Finally, strike a pose. I like to call it the beach pose. Run right up into the lats, down into the rotator cuff, and then rock and roll your arms. So you can always use a wall. If you can't stay on the ground to do everything, you can use a wall. You can roll up against the wall. You can sit in a chair. And when you're sitting in a chair, you can just rock it through this way as well. So it's a super versatile tool. Helps you get to sleep better because in a REM sleep, basically your mind has to shut down in the first 5 minutes. You have to slow down your breathing. And then once you slow down your breathing, the blood flow goes from your head into your limbs. And then you go into a REM sleep. So what we do to speed that up is when you roll at night, you can slow your breathing. And then you can get the blood flow going in your arms and limbs. So when your head hits the pillow, you get a better sleep. So it's really kind of a cool tool that really encompasses everything as well. So if you have any other questions, certainly just reach back out to us.